Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen, chiefs. Before we get into the formal presentation here, chiefs and proxies and friends and relatives and family, we have a special presentation here as well to make. And I'll acknowledge the beautiful, beautiful songs, the drum group here. Thank you for your song. Beautiful songs. To my nephews, the singers here, my brother I called up, Marshall, and Bobby is supposed to come up, but we were so rushed we didn't know this was going to happen on first ballot. So we're very humbled by it, and we weren't prepared properly. And sometimes you've missed that step, so we're going to give tobacco in a good way to fix that. But I want to call up, and we have 2 star blankets here. And we want to present them to 2 very special people. And of course, my nominator and seconder, Chief Roger William and Mariana Cucci. And I'm asking the women, my partner Valerie and Roselle, just to wrap them.
Marianne first?
Yeah, Mariana, Chief Marianne, just to thank my seconder, because she's such a powerful speaker. And when I went to her community, we spent the day talking and sharing. And just to see in her office, she has braids of sweetgrass. She has sacred things. And so that power, that woman's spirit, we wanted to put first. And so I wanted to acknowledge her and thank her for her commitment to our people. And when we're getting into this political world, and you always figure who should nominate you. We hold up Chief Roger William, all of us as Indigenous peoples, Indigenous nations, Indigenous tribes, for what he's done. Not only for the Chilcotin nation, but for all of us. And so we knew through their strength and their perseverance and their dedication to our rights, I went to them and I listened. Not once, twice, a few times to earn their trust and respect, but to honor him and thank him for being my nominator as well. I'll ask the women and the women's spirit here to wrap him, to lift him up and thank him for what he's done here for all of us here. So Chief Roger, I thank you. Now, again, for me, it's a very, very, very humbling experience. I want to say a few words, and I want to thank and acknowledge everybody that has done this in a good way, my team. But before them, I lift up and acknowledge my colleague, my friend, my ally, my support, Ghislain Picard. Thank you for what you've done for all of us as well. And we've talked and traveled many, many miles. And we said, no matter what happens, we bring our circle back. And I thank Ghislain for that. For my colleague and friend as well, Leon Jourdain, I lift him up for his energy and his commitment, for what he's done as well, for letting his name stand for this role, this road we journeyed on together. So Leon, for your energy and your words, your insights, your passion, your commitment to our rights, I thank you and lift you up for your sacrifice as well. Thank you so much, Leon Jourdain. I want to acknowledge again my team, and there's so many to acknowledge and thank for their hard work, their dedication, commitment. A lot of hours, a lot of working together, a lot of planning. They're all back here. There's just so many to name, but I'll tell you one. I'm just going to highlight one name, one person, one individual that brings balance. Balance to me, balance to my life, both personally but professionally. My partner, Valerie, an Ojibwe woman from Nipissing. Thanks, sweetie. And so, now, to the vision and plan. I want to say very first up, it's done now. Let's roll up our sleeves and get to work. Let's roll up our sleeves and get something done for our people. It's about getting things done, and I'm going to move. I want to begin when we talked about this road we're on, this journey we're on as Indigenous peoples. It's a road many of us have been on for many, many years. And when we think about it in this nation state called Canada, and all of our Indigenous peoples, over 58 different nations across Turtle Island, 58 different tribes, 58 different languages, with that right to self-determination. And when we go across Turtle Island from east coast to west coast to north to south, we see and feel the struggles of our people. And the most powerful thing I witnessed in my travels, the most powerful thing is when we go to communities, we go to ceremony, and we go to powwows and celebrations, and we hear that beat of that drum, that heartbeat of Mother Earth. It's very powerful. And when our singers sing that victory song, our elders and our people say, you know, it's good to sing and hear that victory song. To celebrate victories past, present, and future, but to celebrate that as Indigenous peoples, after 500 years of colonization and oppression, we are still here. 500 years of residential school system, cultural genocide, we are still here. Imposition of the Indian Act, we're still here, and we're getting stronger. We see that. We see that every time we go to ceremony. We see that, and that victory song reminds us of how strong we're getting. We're getting that pride back. We've survived, civilized the Indigenous peoples, assimilate the Indigenous peoples, terminate the Indigenous peoples, and now it's integrate the Indigenous peoples. But we've survived that. And we see our circle getting stronger because there's pride. There's pride coming back, and there's alcohol and freedom from alcohol and drugs coming back to our people. We see more and more young women and men getting educated, but balancing a good education with their language and their ceremonies. And that's that victory song. That's that victory song that always speaks well about our development and how we're going to move forward. I want to say, when we start talking about all of us as Indigenous peoples, we do have rights, and we do have collective responsibilities as well. Collective responsibilities to protect the land and waters. And I would be remiss if I didn't point this very fact out, the importance of water, the importance of it to our lives. And I used the old man, William Commanda, his teaching, how that water gives life to Mother Earth. The rivers and streams, the lakes, gives life to Mother Earth. It's just like the veins in your body. Do not let them get plugged. Do not let them get dirty, because your body will die. So that's important teaching. And why I raise that here, we're in Winnipeg. Where does Winnipeg get their water from? Shoal Lake. You know, that has to be addressed. That will be addressed. And we're going to work together from the national level to the regional level to the community level to make sure that issue is addressed, chiefs. I wanted to say that here. I wanted to say that and acknowledge that. I also want to say two or three points here. Thank you. When we move forward now, I've said this 6 years ago. I've said this at every election we go to, whether it be at the reserve community level, tribal council level, or regional level. The election is done. It's finished. Now, bring our people back. Now, bring our circle back. We need the energy and the strength of everyone in this room. We need the energy and strength of everyone across Turtle Island, the strength of our women, the wisdom of our elders, the energy of our youth, the people working collectively. Everybody, we need that circle back now. And I ask for that in a humble way, in a respectful way. Let's keep this circle back in a good way. That's what we need to do. Be united now. It's finished. what we will do going forward now. We see we need to amend the AFN Charter, so that work's going to go on, no question. We see the work we've done on inherent rights and comprehensive claims that needs review. No question we have to push. I've said this before, I'll say it again. No longer can Canada start promoting policies that are not based on recognition of Aboriginal rights and title. No longer can they use exclusion and non-recognition. We exist, our rights are here. It's recognized from their Supreme Court. They have to base everything on that now. Recognition of Aboriginal rights and title. For us, it's still unfinished treaty business in terms of sharing the land and resource wealth. And we need to keep working together. Missing friends and relatives. I know we spend a lot of time talking about this issue of missing murdered Indigenous women and girls. That has to remain a focus of everyone in this room. That has to remain a focus of all levels of government, municipal, regional, national, and our own First Nations governments, to make sure that there is a national inquiry. And I do believe with our energy and our strength and our prayers, keep united, we will see something move in a good way. Keep the focus on that. That national inquiry will and should and must happen. There is no way that should be put to the side. I commit again energy to work as a team to see that reality come about. I also want to say, the importance, again, of our languages. And I acknowledge the work right across Turtle Island. Chief Ron Ignace did a lot of work in BC. You know, the Cultural Centers program, Dorothy Mayo and the board, the Saskatchewan Cultural Center. Because we need to, and we have to hear all those special languages given to us by our Creator spoken to our children and our grandchildren. The words we use in here, we want to continue to hear. Dakota, Lakota, Nakota, Denisantline, the Hurunso, the Mohawk language, the Mi'kmaq, Pasquamari, all of our tribes, to continue to speak to our children and grandchildren, all those sacred teachings, those stories. And we have to push together to see that national First Nations Indigenous language revitalization strategy we put in place. We're going to keep working on that. That's going to be a priority for me and for all of us across Turtle Island. I need to move now to something that I see. And this one is now, and I'm not going to take too much more time, friends and relatives, because I know we have work to do. I know we have to bring the team together. But I want to say this message to everyone in this room, to everyone across Turtle Island, to provincial governments, federal governments, to our brothers and sisters and relatives. We will always acknowledge our elders' teachings. And our elders tell us we see no color. Our elders say we're the two-legged tribe of people. And we don't say no red, black, yellow, but we're the two-leggeds. And they will always acknowledge our relatives and brothers, the four-legged ones, the ones that fly, the ones that swim, the ones that crawl. They will acknowledge the four directions: Mother Earth, Father Sky, Grandmother Moon, Grandfather Sun. We are all part of that. And the spirit of the water, that's so vital to our people. And they'll acknowledge those four water spirits: the rainwater, the fresh water, the salt water, and the water and the importance when birth is there, the power of that water. We're all connected. And this is the last message that I'm going to say to us all here. We'll work together. But to the people of Canada, to the people across this great land, I say to you that the values of fairness and tolerance, which Canada exports to the world, is a lie when it comes to our people. Today we stand in the shadow of our great leaders who have passed into the spirit world. I vow to you and to them that I will fight for the teachings that unite us all. Today, we renew the sacred vows of our ancestors to protect the land, protect our children, to protect our women and our communities. To Canada, we say, for far too long, we have been dispossessed of our homelands and the wealth of our rightful inheritance. Canada will no longer develop pipelines, no longer develop transmission lines or any infrastructure on our lands as business as usual. That is not on. First Nations peoples will oppose any development which deprives our children of the legacy of our ancestors. We will no longer accept poverty and hopelessness while resource companies and governments grow fat off our lands and territories and resources. If our lands and resources are to be developed, it will be done only with our fair share of the royalties, with our ownership of the resources and jobs for our people. It will be done on our terms, in our timeline. Our teachings leave us no choice but to stay true to this path and this work. Canada is Indian land. This is my truth, and this is the truth of our peoples.